Okay, what are we doing today?
Today, we're going to talk about one of my most favorite superheroes.
We're doing another comic book episode?
Why not? I don't see why
Already?
not. Yeah, I don't see why
Seems
not.
like yesterday. We did another one.
Oh, dun. We're talking Wonder Woman.
We're talking about Wonder Woman.
Oh my God, this woman is an inspiration. But this woman is more human than you think.
So let's talk a little bit about
the stories we're covering.
We're going to do a reverse. We're going to do a little bit about the origins of the character first. So Superman is the first superhero.
Right.
Or at least in pop culture, he's considered the first superhero. He actually isn't, but taken as such. Superman actually showed up in the public. He was created in 1938, just preceding the Second World War. And that is actually one of the reasons why superheroes, particularly DC characters, are so popular, because Superman came out a year before the war started, and he was immensely popular going into the war.
Right.
And because during the Second World War, comics were shipped to soldiers, who were primarily very young, especially those on the front lines, to boost morale. And so superheroes have had like a tremendous effect on public consciousness, particularly due to the Second World War.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And most superheroes, especially DC, were created around this time. Superman in 1938, Batman in 1939, Green Lantern, Flash 1940, and in 41,
Flash, another favorite.
Flash, another favorite of yours.
Another favorite.
And Wonder Woman finally came about in 1941. When Wonder Woman was created, she was not called Wonder Woman.
What was she called?
She was called Suprema, the Wonder Woman.
I did not know that.
And she was a direct market response to the popularity of Superman. By the way, Superman was immensely popular at the time.
Still is.
And still is.
Can't deny.
And so Wonder Woman was kind of created as not just a response, not just a female response to Superman, but also because at the time all superheroes were solving their problems with fists. That's what we do. You know? When we get into an altercation, we punch each other. That's what we do. But the creator of Wonder Woman, a well-educated college professor called William Marston.
He also invented the polygraph.
He is also the father of the
Fucking
polygraph
genius.
test. Genius. In fact, he created the lasso for Wonder Woman, the lasso of truth, and it's obviously a holdover from the polygraph test. And so Marston wanted to create a character who didn't solve problems with fists, who didn't use violence as an answer, who was sort of going to solve things with her wit and her love and her femininity, and how those things kind of come into effect. And maybe we'll learn about that today.
Okay, so the first story about Wonder Woman we're covering is called Trinity.
It's called Trinity.
We'll explain why in just a second. So give us a synopsis, like you said. Take it away.
So the story starts with a dark creature being born out of the sky, right? This creature called Oblivion.
Can I read the intro?
Sure.
I'll do that in the middle.
Okay.
After you give the
You'll do the
intro.
intro.
Yeah.
As you are a fan of writing, therefore. So Oblivion is born out of the sky, or Kronos. Kronos is Zeus's father in Greek mythology, a titan. So Oblivion is born from there, and he immediately targets Wonder Woman. Now Wonder Woman is going through a bit of an emotional phase. She's going off to war, or something thereof. Now, I didn't read the previous issue. I don't know what she's going to do, but it sounds pretty serious from the way she's talking about it.
Yeah. She's saying goodbye to everything she has.
To everyone.
She's like, yet again, I have to leave this safe haven.
Right.
So yeah.
So this is the 90s, and during the 90s, Wonder Woman was in her own city, just like Superman is in Metropolis, or operates in Metropolis. Wonder Woman was operating in a city called Gateway City, famous for its association with the past. They have a lot of museums, and they're especially very close to Greek culture. So Wonder Woman feels a little bit at home here, and she's talking to Artemis, who's a fellow Amazon, not from the island. She's from the desert.
Okay.
She's a different tribe of Amazons.
Okay.
And
not wasn't mentioned in the story.
Right.
Couldn't pick that up.
so Artemis is there, and another character called Cassie. Cassie is Zeus's daughter.
Okay.
And therefore has some of the powers of Wonder Woman.
Okay.
right? Which is what we get to see in the story.
That's how she could fly her
Yes.
mom away.
Right. And Cassie, Diana or Wonder Woman lives with Cassie and her mom, and she kind of sees them as family. So as the story progresses, we see Diane, Wonder Woman, go to Artemis and say, well, you have to prepare Cassie because in case I don't make it, Cassie becomes the next Wonder Woman. She's my protege, right? She's my sidekick. She's Wonder Girl. And so she'll become the next Wonder Woman, so you have to make sure that she's ready. And then she says goodbye to Cassie. And
It's like she's passing the torch.
kind of
But
is, or
not
she's preparing
directly.
to pass it.
Yeah, not directly because she doesn't want to say goodbye to Cassie because
Right.
that will crush her.
Yes.
So she wants to. She has Artemis to,
Kind
pass
of
that message
pass
to
the
her.
message, yeah.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman goes to lie down a little bit because she's kind of mentally preparing for the adventure to come.
This is her last few moments of calm.
Right. So Wonder Woman has this ridiculous thing called the invisible jet, which is a plane. It's invisible. Why would a character from Greek mythology who can fly need a plane?
Exactly
It's
what
obnoxious.
Batman said.
Yeah. So anyway, so the plane can shrink down and it becomes like a little disc. She has the disc next to her, on her bedside table. So this Oblivion character, this newly born character, comes in and it's already causing nightmares, right? It's just it's a god, born of a god, therefore is a god, can influence nightmares.
It's making children cry.
Right.
It's creating a lot of mayhem out there. No one knows what this night is turning into.
It better if its name is Oblivion. So Oblivion goes around causing havoc, and then he comes into Wonder Woman's room. She's unaware of it, touches the plane, and the plane goes berserk. The little disc, which is the plane, it goes berserk, and it starts to engulf Wonder Woman and captures her, bubbles her in, and then starts destroying the city around her.
Yeah.
First her house, where Artemis and Cassie also are, but then eventually like the entire city.
Yeah. And interesting because she is now put into this trance where she's in a dream state,
Right.
and a lot of shit starts to go down
Yeah.
while she's in the dream state.
Exactly.
That's the turn of events we're gonna get into.
So the plane engulfs her and then puts her in a dreamlike state
Exactly.
while things start happening around her. Now,
So this is what's happening outside of her dream state. We'll get into the dream state
right.
in a
So
second.
the story is two parts. One is what's happening in the dream state,
And one outside.
her perceptions, and what's outside. So
Telepathically,
right.
the green-headed monster, what's his name? Martian
The green-headed monster is a character called Martian Manhunter. He is Martian, ergo his name. And the Manhunter, we say Superman's very powerful. Wonder Woman's the second most powerful character in the world. We're both wrong.
He has something neither of them have.
He has telepathic ability. He can shapeshift. He can go invisible. He can go through walls. And he has all of Superman's other powers.
That is fucking amazing.
Yeah, so
But
he's
so ugly.
OP. He's ugly.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Why he's not popular. Listen, you gotta have those good
That
looks
is-
to end up on CW.
True, very true. Actually, he is on the CW.
He is?
He's a supporting character in the Supergirl.
Oh my god! Oh, I've seen Supergirl through the crossovers.
Yeah.
So my version of comics is through the TV shows, and his is like real, actual comic book nerdy shit. Sexy as fuck.
So we see Martian Manhunter, who is part of the Justice League, and Martian Manhunter gets like a telepathic shock.
Yeah.
So this blob, the invisible plane, which is growing and expanding and destroying the city, is starting to also send out psychic shocks. And Martian Manhunter is the first person to be affected by it. He's in the Watchtower.
And he can feel exactly where this is coming from, this is generated from.
Right.
And he's like, okay, it's Gateway City. And Superman's like, Diana!
Right. Superman. We'll get into Superman in a bit. So he's Martian Manhunter is in the Justice League
Second of the
headquarters.
Trinity.
He's in the Justice League headquarters, which is probably the Watchtower, I'm guessing. And Superman's there. Aquaman's there.
Who I confused to be Thor.
Who you confused with Thor? Honest mistake. In the
They're
90s.
blonde and they're wearing this armor.
Right. We'll talk about Aquaman someday. But now, all we need to know about Aquaman talks to fish. Okay? And he does so telepathically.
That's why you introduce it. That's how you introduce it to Aquaman.
Right, Aquaman talks to
Talks to fish, Nyla. Talks to fish.
So Aquaman is telepathic as well. He communicates with fish telepathically because fish can't speak. So he's also affected by the thing, by the growing monster that is devouring Gateway City. And so since they're both affected, Superman's concerned, and then Batman shows up, but he doesn't come in. Batman's on the screen. Yeah. Tell us what he says.
Okay. So Superman is like, we need your help, right? And he's like, no, I'll sit this one out.
Okay. So Batman comes in, and Batman says, okay, we can't pinpoint where Wonder Woman is. Martian Manhunter says that she's in. Martian Manhunter can sense Wonder Woman.
Right.
And she's in peace. And that worries him.
She is feeling happiness, and he's like, what?
Right.
She's feeling happiness?
Also because
when all this mayhem, he doesn't know yet that she's in a dream state, does he?
He does not.
He does not. So why is she happy when her
city is being destroyed, and they're like, why is Wonder Woman inactive?
Yeah.
And so Superman, I think, is the first to kind of feel that something's wrong.
Right.
Even though he's not telepathic, so he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
But when Batman is contacted by the League, Batman's like, okay, anyone who's telepathic is immediately off the table.
Yeah.
Right? Do not engage with this thing, because if Martian Manhunter cannot tackle this, then all of you are small fry.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, just stay seated, all of you.
Yeah.
So Superman asks Batman to help them out, and Batman's like, I don't think I can contribute to this. I'm pretty useless.
He's being realistic. He's
being practical. He's like, I can't.
None of his gadgets are gonna come in and save the day.
Right. And then Superman says, come in anyway. And here's when we see a little bit of Superman and Batman's relationship. They're friends if Batman has any friends, but Superman's kind of the only person who can appeal to Batman. He'll listen. Everyone else, Batman's like, fuck off.
Yeah,
like,
he has that to Aquaman, to the Martian dude.
Yeah, but with Superman, he's like, okay. So he accompanies Superman.
Superman, Batman.
So he accompanies Superman. And as they're going to Gateway City, Batman's thinking to himself that Superman at some point had feelings for one.
Yeah, and he's wondering, are these feelings going to resurface, because he is so driven to save Diana, but the whole point is also to save the world from oblivion.
Right.
That's the only way to save Diana. So we have to think straight.
Yeah.
Attack the real enemy and not just act out of our feelings.
He also mentioned something that Wonder Woman's death caused Superman to start up. A few years prior to this story, Wonder Woman had died.
Okay.
So Superman's
in another issue?
In a different story, and his feelings, Batman's afraid that his feelings for Diana or Wonder Woman, Superman's feelings for Wonder Woman might have resurfaced because of the death, and he can't act on it because he's married. So
he's been a good friend, looking out for another mother.
Batman? Batman's just a dick. Batman's like, is this going to jeopardize the mission?
Exactly.
He's also concerned. He is a good friend.
Yeah. Like Batman is concerned. The Dark Knight is concerned.
And so as the story progresses, what happens is Superman and Batman go in, and the plane is expanding like mist or a fog, and it's attacking everything in its path. It's destroying stuff, right? And Artemis and Cassie. Artemis, as we talked about at the beginning of the episode, they're trying to kind of help people and contain the damage.
Yeah.
Artemis is using this as a training exercise
for Cassie.
Yeah. And that's their role in the story. That's it. But
they're trying to take care of the world in Gateway City, whatever's happening there.
Right.
And over here, this is what's happening. So the Trinity, right? Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Have you heard of a better Trinity? Oh my god.
They are the comic book Trinity.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely, they are. As we're going forward through the story, Superman and Batman try to engage the mist. Actually, Superman does. In a desperate attempt to find Wonder Woman. And he's kind of he's very concerned, right? So he's trying to fight this blob, or this mist that's captured Wonder Woman. And he punches it, and it kind of engulfs him and captures him and pulls it in.
And they're all in the same mess now.
Before that, Batman's there, right?
Yes.
And because Superman and Batman are right next, Batman's on the plane. He's in his Batplane. So they're right there, and Superman gets captured.
Right.
Batman's like, he communicates with the Justice League and he goes, okay, Superman's been captured.
Yeah.
We're fucked.
Yeah.
Right? And then he's like, okay, he flies out of its way.
Mhm.
Did you see that? He
No.
gets out.
No.
And then he's like, okay, I gotta try something. He goes really close to it, hits the propulsion jets, and then his last thing that he says to Martian Manhunter is, fire doesn't work on it.
Alright, I remember.
As he's being captured, he's like, fire doesn't work. Don't try fire. And then he just goes away. He gets engulfed by it.
And that's when this guy, what's his name?
Okay, so this character, this is the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay, let me preface by saying the 90s they were always trying different things.
Mhm.
Zariel is an angel. And Martian Manhunter's really concerned. He's like, okay, we just lost Superman,
Three
and
of
Batman,
our
and
best.
Wonder Woman.
Uh-huh.
Three of our best. What do we do? And Zariel is an angel from heaven who says, there's always prayer.
When all is fine.
He's like, can we call him God? That's his response.
That was the best thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, tell us what happens next.
So,
Wonder Woman is waking up at this point.
No, she's not. She's still in the dream state. Superman and Batman are inside,
Yeah.
and on the inside it looks like a hallway.
Right.
This thing that's like kind of covering the city.
Right.
On the inside it looks like a hallway, and then Superman and Batman are like, oh, it's like there are veins branching out from the heart. We need to follow it to the heart, right?
That's what was happening.
That's what happened. That's
the
what was
artwork
happening.
confused me because there's all these
It's a little confusing,
creepers, right?
Yeah, so they're following all the creepers to go to the heart, and Superman's like carrying Batman,
Mhm.
and then like the thing starts throwing antibodies, or rather sharp objects. Superman's invulnerable,
Mhm.
but Batman gets caught,
Mhm.
and then Batman's like, you know, like, should we do something? Should you do something about these things? I mean, like, blood loss is going to become an issue for me. You're invulnerable, you dick.
His responses
Batman
throughout the story.
story is fully focused, always practical, and always a dick.
Oh, he's a fucking
He has
dick.
no emotion. Like I'm sure he's concerned about Diana.
But he's
doesn't
so
show it.
cutthroat. He's
so
so
cutthroat.
cutthroat.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he hurts her at her weakest. We'll get there.
get to
We're
that.
getting there
We'll get
in
to
just a second.
So as this chaos is happening in the outside world, on the inside the thing, Wonder Woman's asleep, and in her mind the world is perfect.
Mhm.
Suddenly, like, everyone's following all of her preachings. Everyone's adopted the Amazon way.
Yeah.
Everyone's become more docile, more helpful to one another, and
That's a perfect world that she doesn't want to get out
and
of.
her version of a perfect world is one that doesn't need Wonder Woman. Which
Yeah,
she
Wonder
eventually-
Woman was history
right.
in that dream state.
But she doesn't
Okay.
need to be active anymore.
Like she has done her work here.
She's done her work. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's
So,
the dream, huh?
That's the dream.
Like
So-
you're accomplished at all your missions.
Right. So at the end
That's
of
what brought her so much happiness.
that is what brought her so much happiness. So at the end of the first issue, this story is 2 issues. So at the end of the first issue, we see Wonder Woman going peacefully to sleep,
Mhm.
and then at the beginning of the second issue, we see her wake up
Mhm.
with a jolt, and because she thought she was dying. She was like, my work is done. I'm going to die now. And then she wakes up and goes, I'm not ready to die.
Yeah.
I've never experienced love.
Yeah.
And so she-
Right. Oh my god, let me bring you back to that moment. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is when she's starting to realize I'm not done yet in this world.
Right.
I have a lot to feel. So I have accomplished what I wanted to give to everybody, but I have not received. I
Mhm,
have
mhm.
never felt the beautiful soft connection between a man and a woman.
Right.
I have never been loved. I have always been alone, and I don't want to be. I
Right.
have to wake up from this and go get me some rewards
Right. Yeah.
So
I
she-
want to do something for myself.
for myself.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
She wakes up, and then Batman, being the voice of reason and
Is that the point where she wakes up?
Yeah.
She wakes up
This is
from
where she wakes
she
up.
actually wakes up in real life because
In real
her
life.
longing brings her to
Mhm.
consciousness.
exactly.
And so she wakes up
And she is
and Superman and Batman
still,
find her.
yeah, she's still in a daze. Like,
Right.
what just happened? And then they're breaking the news to her. By the way, while you've been sound asleep,
Yeah.
the whole world has been crashing down around
Your
us.
city's been
And she's still like waking up like a diva, like slowly but surely,
Right.
recalling what day it is. And Batman is being so inconsiderate of her because it's a lot to take in.
Uh-huh.
And Batman's like, hey lady, we got work to do, right? The city is being devoured. You need to wake up. Tell us what the fuck happened.
Also, Batman, I think, reasons that since Wonder Woman's the heart of this monster, this thing that's destroying the city, he's like, are you resentful of the world for not being the way it is?
Exactly. He
And
points
is
that
it,
out.
is it
What
feeding
is it-
off of your energy?
Yeah.
Or,
What
or
is
your,
it
your
in
thought
your
process?
subconscious
Right.
that you don't like about the world, that you have to create a happy world, and so much anger within you? He points it out, and he's like dropping heavy bombs on her. Like
Right.
that's a
Superman's like-
therapist work you don't want right now.
Right, right. And
Superman's like,
Superman's like, listen,
go
dude, you
easy
gotta
on her.
chill out.
You gotta go easy on her. She's waking up from,
Yeah,
from
she's confused. Like, she's in the same place that we are.
yeah.
Like, you gotta be a little more considerate.
Yeah. No, he's like, we got work to do though. We need to go save the world. Get up, lady, right?
Yeah.
So then they move on.
Yeah, so what happens is, meanwhile, in the Justice League, everyone's praying.
That was so sad.
Because they're like, we
At
don't
this
know what to
point,
do.
they
Yeah.
lost touch.
Yeah, because Martian
with
Manhunter.
everyone.
Yeah, because Martian Manhunter, even though he's the most powerful character in the universe, he can't do anything because he's telepathic. The first thing the creature is doing is sending out like a telepathic shot, so they can't approach it.
Right.
So meanwhile, inside of the thing, the creature, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are in there,
Right.
and Batman, in the midst of like his psychological profiling of Diana, points out in the last 30 seconds, this room has shrunk to half its size, and so they realize that the walls are kind of crushing them in.
And the damage is growing. The damage is happening faster and faster by the second.
Right.
They're
It's
not
expanding,
taking
it's
enough.
destroying more
It's
stuff.
like he's growing anxious because they're not taking action yet. They don't have a strategy yet.
Right.
And I think because
And
he's
he's
the
the
man,
strategist. Yeah.
and he's freaking out.
What I
It's
love
like
about-
urging everybody.
But what I love about it is he's freaking out in the calmest way possible.
Right.
He's like, but it's great
It's like
because
observation. By the
because
way, walls are closing
you,
in.
you said freaking out. The walls start closing in, and Superman and Wonder Woman start freaking out, and they start
Right.
punching the walls.
Right.
And then Batman's like, like it's so large, and it's like a single organism.
Yeah.
You're spreading. Also, it's expanding, right? So your punches are being spread across the wall, like across the cross section of this entire thing.
And
You
it's
might
always-
as well be sneezing.
You might
on it.
as well be sneezing. This is a futile attempt.
These are two demigods trying to punch their way out of like being crushed.
And it's like,
And Batman's
might as well be.
like, look, there's nothing I can do. But what you're doing is useless.
Might as well be sneezing on it.
Yeah.
Batman.
And then they all get engulfed
Yeah.
by it. And then they start hallucinating a shared dream.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is where things start to go really crazy. Can I just go back to the intro? I have to read you a little bit about the
Right.
Oblivion
Yeah.
because the
It's
very
a creature
intro,
which sets everything in motion.
Yeah, the very intro will help you understand what the fuck kind of power he has over everything. And they start to talk about how he considers all these children as in people to be toys that he likes to play with. And he talks about as soon as his menacing presence is approaching the earth, there's this child crying, doesn't even know that the nightmare that approaches. So that's how the story starts. Like that's the kind of power, and he feeds off of people's memories. So he has the power to just attack whatever it is that you desire in your deepest subconscious. He plays with it, which is exactly what he did with Diana in her dream state. Okay?
Right.
And just went and attacked
It's
her
interesting
weakest
because
spot.
I think he probes a little bit. At first he goes,
Yes.
okay, here's the world you want. Here's the thing you want now. Like it goes more specific
Exactly.
the second time around.
Exactly. The reason why I just read that bit is because now the dream sequence is where everyone is plunged in, and that guy, to be able to suck in all of these powerful people, that means he's growing stronger.
Yes.
That means all of these people somehow desire the same thing. They're in sync. Think about it. Batman wants to end this war. Superman wants to save Diana. Diana wants a world where she can have love. All of them have some sort of alignment of desire. That bastard over there picked up on their desire, put them in the same spot, and started playing with them. This is my motherfucking doll's house, he said.
Damn. That's pretty baller.
That's
Nice.
why I wanted to read that.
Yeah.
Now tell us about what happens in the second dream sequence.
So the second dream sequence, Wonder
Fucking
Woman,
crazy.
Wonder Woman wakes up. Sorry, Wonder Woman's dreaming. Wonder Woman comes to man's world, and what does she do exactly?
Okay, so she is starting to dream that she's living a perfect world with
Right.
Clark, Superman, not Clark,
So
Superman.
at first Clark shows up because Clark does her first interview.
Right.
At least in this version. Because in the comics,
Right.
the first time they meet is as Superman and Wonder Woman.
Right.
In this version, she knows Superman exists because Wonder Woman arrives on man's world at a point where Superman's already a bit of a hero, right? He's been around for a bit.
Yeah.
So here she meets Clark first, who comes in for an interview, right? And then there's an immediate connection between reporter Clark Kent and Diana, and then he shows up outside of her window, just like the Superman story where she shows up outside of his window.
Whoa!
So,
1,000 years.
Yeah, so he shows up outside of her window because Superman, he's Kryptonian, right? But he's also by the way, on Krypton they don't really have their powers. On Earth they do. So Superman has never met somebody who has powers like him. And Wonder Woman was the first. And that sort of is the basis for their attraction before they really get to know each other.
Yeah, it would make sense if they both fell for each other.
Right. Or at least I mean, it seems a little shallow to begin with, but obviously,
They have a lot in common.
we have a lot in common. So
That's not great. That great.
well,
We already talked about it.
but so when he shows up in front of her window, she says Clark, and he goes like, "What? I don't know what you're talking about," right? And then what Diana says is a critique of Lois Lane. Do you realize? Clark, to not realize I would have to be blind, deaf, and very dumb. Yeah. So.
Mic drop.
So they fly and then they make out a little bit.
Oh yeah. So okay, in the first dream sequence, she
That's
was
actually
like,
also, by the way, because you read out like a part of the story. Very good writing.
very excellent
Very
writing.
beautiful writing, and also like
Captivating.
even that moment when they're in the sky together. Very like eloquent speech.
Right? And okay, this is when
Text.
their lips their lips touch and they kiss one another. She feels this warmth, this wave of warmth, right?
Right.
But eventually, this is what happens. Again, the voice of reason, Batman, is in the dream sequence
But
now.
a little later, right? Because they get together, Superman, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
and they kind of progress the mission to save the world and make it better.
Save the world,
then
and somebody's pregnant? Was it her?
I don't
They're
know.
they're
Because
not.
at some point she does get pregnant.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's later on.
But
Because
like in the story,
because like
do they start building that happy life together?
they do.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like at first they're on the mission together, and then Superman brings Batman into the equation, and then she goes like, well, Batman, what does he do? He completes us.
Yeah, okay, so she is well aware of the fact that there is a flaw in her and in Superman, so they're not able
They're
to.
far too optimistic.
Exactly, they're far too optimistic. Their strategies do not cut it. That's how their other friend Batman completes them, and he is the strategist.
It's
He
a healthy
provides.
dose of sin.
Even though Diana recognizes it, even though he is cynical, he is just what we need. He provides strategy. He brings the calmness to our, because listen, I cannot help but point out that Diana and Superman, they're they're fucking distracted. Okay, their eyes are off the mission. Because they're up in the sky, middle of the war, and they're kissing.
War.
Wasn't it during? Okay,
No.
whatever it is, they're kissing.
They just met. They weren't at war.
They're doing whatever they're doing. They're being together. They don't have a strategy
They're
because they're
people.
fucking distracted, is what they are.
Okay.
You need Batman to come and set everything right. Listen, you gotta do this. I'm just gonna sit here in my throne. Watch you do what you need to do. I provide the
Excellent,
strategy.
because that is exactly what 90s
Right.
Batman is. Batman's like, you do this, you do that. I'm gonna crouch on this.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make snide comments about where you're going wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
It's great.
This is the snide comment part, but as snide as they are, they're so thought-provoking. This is the moment where he goes like, okay.
Wait, but you keep missing because like
Sorry.
they're
What
on
is-
Batman comes into the equation,
Yeah.
and then Superman and Wonder Woman get married.
That's
Right.
when the marriage happens.
That's when the marriage happens. She gets pregnant,
That's where the pregnancy.
That's where the pregnancy happens.
Water.
and then Lois attends the marriage. So Clark is a little distracted during that time,
Mhm.
and something's off. Like Clark feels there's a sadness in Clark,
Yeah, and
which
it's like-
shows up every now and then.
Yeah, like something's wrong about this arrangement.
Right.
Like this reality doesn't make sense where I'm marrying and having a family with Wonder Woman, and then he starts to realize.
I don't think that's the problem. I think the
Well,
problem
what's
is
the
he's
problem?
longing for Lois. Because Lois is still here. Like in this perfect world,
Yeah.
Lois still exists.
So in this world, he's cheating on Wonder Woman.
Did you realize that every time Wonder Woman comments on Superman's like sudden sadness, Lois is in the background?
Okay,
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Right. So
I just realized.
So Lois is always in the background whenever Superman's like, but he's not exactly like sad. It's like
Something's wrong.
yeah, he's
Something's
like
missing.
he's like melancholic.
Melancholy.
Melancholic.
That's in the theme of our
Yeah,
lives.
yeah. So then Batman slips her a note. I have to talk.
Yes, and that's when the talk happens.
Yeah, which is funny to me because Batman doesn't want to confront Superman about any of this. He's like, Diana, we gotta talk.
We gotta
All right,
talk.
this shit, it ain't real.
Yeah, and there's no convincing the ever-optimist Superman about reality. Okay,
That's
he's
interesting.
so
yeah.
fucking deluded.
Right.
He can't get through the
Hey,
head.
Clark, this world's perfect. It ain't real. Yeah. And Clark's like, I don't buy that.
I don't buy that.
It's great.
I'm
It's great.
powerful,
I love my
everything's
wife.
possible.
She's awesome. I like that other girl a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna deal with it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what he talks to Diana about.
So he tells Diana that
Asks Diana.
well,
No,
he
no,
asks-
first.
he lets her figure it out.
Yeah, at first he's like, I am a detective, so I pick up deeds from the past.
Clark is an eternal optimist. He lives in the future. He lives for the future.
Yeah.
I dwell in the past because I'm a detective. I find clues from the past to solve mysteries.
Mhm.
You
Where do you live?
Yeah, you live in the
Where do
present.
you live?
Yeah.
She says here and now,
Right.
which is not true.
You don't think it's
No.
true? Okay.
She does not live in the
Do you
present.
think she's a bit of an optimist who lives in the future as well? Because
She lives in a deluded
because
fantasy
thematically,
world.
speaking, Superman is called the man of tomorrow.
Mhm.
Metropolis is called the city of tomorrow,
Mhm.
and he lives for tomorrow to bring us a better tomorrow.
Right.
Right. Wonder Woman is a woman from the past
Mhm.
because the Amazons haven't developed at the same rate.
Right.
Right.
She's supposed to be this person who's bridging the past and the
Past and
future.
present, right.
But she, because of her sheer identity crisis that we see in the next story, she is neither there nor here. Not here and now.
Okay.
Okay? And the dream sequences are proof of that. Batman pointed out she's not happy with everything that's around her.
Right.
How can she be in the present? For you to be in the present, that means you're confident about everything that's around you.
Right.
You're okay. You've accepted this is reality. She has never
she
accepted
has
reality.
not, right.
So she herself doesn't know Rohan. She just gave an
interesting
answer.
because
Did
one-
you see her eyes in that picture? She said here and now, but her face was clueless. She does not know.
Diana comes from a world of Amazons, which they call it Paradise Island, right? So she comes from the island of the Amazons called Themyscira, but it's also known as Paradise Island.
The mascara.
Right, the mascara. So I guess her work is to kind of bring that same kind of paradise to man's world, but people don't mesh with the ideologies that the Amazons have to offer.
No.
Also, the Amazons hate men.
And it's hard enough for her to like blend in,
Yeah, the two.
let
kind
alone
of bridge the two.
yeah, and
make
let
it-
alone make changes here.
Right.
You know, because that's why she has to team up with other people. You know,
Right.
she always needs another partner to make her missions. Not that she's not a badass boss in what she does. She is.
Mhm.
But in this world, you need other strategists to complete you. She does realize that.
Right.
So she is a little confused.
Mhm.
This is another point in the story where yet again she gets rejected because Superman is waking up. Okay,
Uh-huh.
he's waking up and he's like, something's wrong.
Right.
I do love you, but like this isn't real. He finally,
Yeah.
this deluded fuck finally gets it.
Right.
That finally they all understand this is
Right.
a dream
He's like,
sequence, right?
"Lois, though."
and Batman's over there like the amount of time we could have saved.
We gotta talk someday. I think this episode's like, we don't have time today, but like we gotta talk about Lois and his obsession, Clark and his obsession with Lois.
Yeah. And we also have to talk about Lana and his relationship with Lana and Wonder Woman and everyone, all the women.
Yeah,
we'll bring it in. We'll bring it in.
it.
So for now, Batman's like, I've been telling you the exact same thing. He doesn't say anything, but that I feel like that'd be his attitude, because he's the one who's been bringing in the voice of reason. That this is not real.
You know what's
this
amazing?
doesn't seem real.
We don't see Batman struggle at all.
But listen, he has been trying to warn Diana. So Diana gets the warning, still goes off and marries her, even if it's a dream sequence, and only until, they don't wake up until he rejects her yet again.
Right. That is true. That is true. I love how you just caught on to that.
I mean, you need a fucking blow to wake the fuck up, and
Yeah.
they literally had to wake the fuck up.
Right. Also, because this creature, as we understand now, is actually attuned to Wonder Woman's thought process. Once she accepts that this is not the real world, and that the world outside is the real world, the creature starts to kind of coalesce into something else.
His power, he loses his power.
Right.
Because
The Oblivion loses its power.
exactly, because his ability is to control the subconscious, and the subconscious is waking up.
Right.
Becoming conscious. Stream of consciousness is what we call it.
Right.
So at the very end of this particular story, Wonder Woman is left dazed and empty and lonely as ever, because she still remembers that, Figment,
But
right?
before that,
Yeah.
we see the blob or the creature retract and become like a new, almost like a temple of sorts, right? Or like a safe house for Wonder Woman. And we call that the Wonder Dome. We saw that in the first story.
Here's what happened there.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God, that is
so
crazy.
we call that the Wonder Dome, and Superman and Wonder Woman see that, and then they go fly up towards it. And before they do, Batman's like, "Hey, we haven't tested it. We don't know what it is. It's dangerous. It just destroyed a city." And I think it doesn't Wonder Woman just go like, "Shut up, Batman."
Yeah. I've dealt with enough of your cynicism.
Yeah, which is amazing, because throughout the story, Batman's the voice of reason, and he's a dick.
He's such a dick.
And I love it.
He has no chill.
But I love that Wonder Woman at the end gets to shut him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
She's had enough.
She's had enough. And so she and Superman have like a nice little moment where they appreciate the Wonder Dome, and
the moment where they were up in the sky and they kissed for the first time, from her memory it becomes a statue.
It becomes a statue later on in the story.
The
story ends with Superman and Batman going off, or Superman going off. Batman's just down there. He's immortal. He doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So Superman goes off, and then Wonder Woman's left standing there, thinking about the tingling on her lips from the kiss in her memory.
Yeah, and she's like, something like, I miss the tingling on my lips.
Right. So she's.
It's so heartbreaking.
It's a beautiful story.
It's a beautiful story, and it's so heartbreaking. I cannot but channel off of that sadness, All right, so with that, we're gonna wrap up this episode. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you all for watching. Like the video, subscribe, tune in next week for another episode.
And our channel is called Immoral Practicality.
Our channel is called
Practicality.
Fantastic Philosophers. The podcast is called Immoral Practicality.
Immoral Practicality. Will I ever get it right? Thank you.
Probably not, and it's going to become a shtick, and we're going to stick to it.
I